What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to talk all about Siege and what's the best way to handle this new content. So it's been about a week almost since Siege has been released. There's been a lot of chatter behind the scenes about how best to handle this content, what is obviously the best strategies, what actually works, and there's so many questions that we've yet to answer. Hopefully we can work on some of those answers here today in today's video. But I feel like myself personally, I'm in an interesting position because I'm both a leader of a clan and a member of a clan. I'm a member of a basically top 10, top 15 clan in the game. So it's a pretty sweaty, high involvement clan. I'm the leader of a top 250 clan, which is obviously still looking to be competitive in this format and do the best we can, but we're not on the same level of sweatiness as the top 10, top 15 clan that I'm in. So this allows me to give you guys two different perspectives here, because I feel like a lot of the comments that I've seen on this have been made by people that are not actually leaders. If you're not a leader in this format or in your clan, obviously, it's actually not super hard for you because you need to just follow instructions based on your leader. And outside of that, you don't have too much agency in what you can really do. So I say that, but I'm going to go over the two basic ways to approach this kind of new content, this Siege content. And I feel like 99% of the player base will be more geared towards one way, and then the top 1% will probably gear towards the other way. So the most obvious way of handling this content is don't really put too much effort into it. The way it is structured, you basically have arena fights. At different stations in this game. It's kind of like Centranos with the ability for you to add secret room conditions to them. But at the end of it, it's kind of like, if you guys have ever played Pokemon Go, it's kind of like setting up a Pokemon Go defense tower, and then you just use your attacking teams to attack the tower, trying to bring it down, trying to claim it yourself. I find that a pretty similar comparison, except that in this game, you can actually kind of do upgrades, and that kind of adds an extra layer of strategy that can be involved in it. So I'm going to say that most players in this game probably are not going to put significant effort into this game. So at the very least, if you are a leader of a clan that does not want to give significant effort to this format, perfectly understandable. I feel like as a leader myself, this is definitely beyond what this game is capable of. First of all, the chat system's awful. How do you coordinate in-game with 29 other people through this horrible chat system? So yeah, they need to do something with this chat system, maybe have a Siege only chat system, which would be pretty cool. But anyways, it's incredibly difficult to coordinate anything that is super detailed. But at the very least, you should recognize that there are probably some stronger players in your clan, and you probably want those players to have, obviously stronger attacking teams and defense teams. So at the very least, you should have those stronger players protect your stronghold, because as long as your stronghold stays standing, you cannot lose the siege. You can't win the siege either, because you have to claim the enemy stronghold. But if your stronghold is alive, then you can't really lose. With that being said, again, you should at least advise some of your stronger players to use their defense teams on key areas in the game. So if you're just using basic strategy in this type of game, you can kind of see which areas or which positions are more of a focal point. They maybe are crossroads to certain areas, or they're a gateway to key areas. For example, the biggest one I can see here, obviously, is post 11. So post 11 has basically there's many different routes leading to it, so it's going to be kind of a critical spot. So if you have a very good defense for this team or for this post, then it's definitely worthwhile looking into. And then obviously invest your best defenses into some of the critical tower structures, like the defense towers, so the green towers and the blue towers. And needless to say, your stronghold needs to be heavily defended as well. With that being said, there's this other element to this format, and that's how to spend your resources. We were gifted a bunch of resources in the beginning. How best to spend it, honestly, if you have any experience playing these type of games where you have to focus on upgrades for future growth and health of your fortress or your basically city here or whatever, usually it comes through upgrades instead of paying for immediate gains, so immediate units and so forth. So for example, in this siege content, paying for immediate gains would be similar to basically paying for like conditions, because conditions won't carry over into the next siege, for example. However, I did receive some confirmation that upgrades from the magic orbs, so for example, the magic orb upgrades won't carry over into the next siege. I'm actually kind of surprised that that's the case. I don't know if you guys have heard any different, but it kind of doesn't really make sense to me that it doesn't carry over. For example, conditions, I can see not carrying over and that making sense, but upgrades, I don't know why that would not carry over. I haven't gotten anything super definitive on that. I haven't been able to find that information, but there's definitely layers of strategy here during the prep phase with how to spend your resources. As for florins, florins are used to repair your buildings, so you're going to be and upgrade some of your key structures. So florins used to upgrade and repair. Upgrading, I assume, will be carry over. It's going to be permanent for your basically city, and then you'll just have it for the next siege and so forth. So you do have to have a long range outlook versus a short range outlook on how you want to spend your resources. Again, we're venturing off into like the more sweaty part of things. So like I said, if you're more of the 99% of probably the player base, you're probably just going to throw your defenses into wherever makes sense. And in terms of resource spending, you're just going to spend whatever on whatever. As a leader, if you can somehow control your group somehow to at least donate some of their resources to you for your stronghold, for example, so at least you have some control over it, or the magic orb, so you can at least dictate where you want to do the upgrades, for example. It might actually be beneficial. Obviously, it's very difficult with the in-game chat system, as mentioned. But like I said, guys, try to focus your best players' defenses on the key structures here. Stronghold and the colored posts, that would make the most sense. If they have a particularly strong conditional defense, it might be worth spending your magic orbs on. You definitely could consider that. Again, that might be a a leadership decision, how you want to spend your magical orbs. But again, like I said, the mass player base probably isn't going to really give a damn about too much of that, because it's really, really hard to control your clan. So I'm going to shift my perspective to the 1% here, where I'm basically just a member of a really organized group. And, we're talking like spreadsheets, we're talking about showing your rosters and all that stuff, and then just trying to dictate where is the best position for you. And of course, there's very deep talk of resource management and roster management and all that. So obviously, I don't think that's going to be worth doing for most people, especially if their clans are not tight-knit enough. It's really difficult, I feel like, to play this mode in raid like that. So obviously Discord's going to be helpful, but even with Discord, it's basically a job. It's hours of back-end stuff. The prep phase is 12 days, and honestly, it's kind of needed if you're going to go that route. Like if you're going down the super sweaty route, you kind of need that time just to set things up. But of course, this is going to be the first one. The subsequent sieges will retain some of our defenses in the towers, so it will be less prep work. But still, those are like the sweaty clans, and I don't think anybody will, basically watching this video is going to be pursuing that level of dedication towards this format. As you can clearly see here from the reward structure, it's actually not that great. I mean, we're getting this new set called Referral, and it's basically a counter to the Sheep Blessing. It's also basically like a super perception set where you get the perception stats, you get speed as well, which is good. It's a good set, but then it's made to counter Sheep. Basically, it gives you a chance to counter Sheep, and it's a debuffer set. So it's kind of interesting that they're going to gate it behind this, because it's going to take a long time just to get some of the rewards, since you only get the rewards once every 2 weeks if you can win. So yeah, it's definitely a tough format. And honestly, since this is the first siege, there's lots of unanswered questions. Like I said, we don't know exactly what happens to the resources if you, for example, don't spend any. Well, if you don't spend any, do they carry over? Do upgrades carry over? And all that stuff. But we did get word that magic orb upgrades, they won't carry over, which is interesting. And obviously, like building upgrades with florins probably will carry over. For example, if I wanted to upgrade my mana shrine here, for example, then it probably will carry over into the next siege. That would make sense to me. Otherwise, it doesn't make, none of this really makes sense to me. So I spent a lot of time talking about the prep phase, which is 12 days long. There is an attacking phase that is 2 days long. And basically, like a quick tip here for this is basically have your weaker attacking teams, so your maybe weaker members, attack weaker defenses if you can, because you're limited in how many attacks you can do. So save your strongest attacking rosters to attack stronger defenses. So that's just a quick tip there. So when you guys get to the attacking phase, something to consider. Otherwise, it's kind of just YOLO. You can't really control anybody. Just let them do whatever. But if you guys want to get the most out of it, that's probably what you want to do. Yeah, so overall, I think most people are just going to wing this first one and see where it goes. The rewards that were kind of mentioned weren't very, inspiring. So we're going to have to wait and see how this is going to plan out. But I feel like Plarium's going to have to go back to the drawing board on some of this stuff. Maybe retweak on how some of this, it's definitely got to retweak some of the reward structure. Maybe retweak the timing of everything. How players can get involved with each other. Like, it just doesn't make sense for this in-game chat system to work with 30 people. It just doesn't make sense. Like, unless they assume that everyone just uses Discord or a third-party app to communicate, having this is just ridiculous. Like, they maybe could do something where you can have like a ping. Maybe the leader or leaders can maybe like put like a ping here, like, and then this would show like a red dot, and then players can come in here and maybe check what the leader's doing. And then they could basically like kind of put in their team, for example. Maybe it's a red ping and then it's just like, oh, players need to put in their things. Some kind of an alert. It's just, even if they want to do something like simple and simplistic like that, that would make more sense. But I think they need chat, like Siege needs its own dedicated chat room for your clan. And there has to be some way to get clan members' attention if they want to be involved in this, or maybe offer something that opts them out. They can maybe opt out completely, and then maybe give their resources, divvy up their resources, or give it or donate it to the leader or the clan or whatever. There must be some other way to make this a little bit more user friendly, because I think Plarium forgot that this is a mobile game, a mobile game first, right, guys? And I think this is just well beyond the scope of what Raid is about. Even though it's cool, I like the idea and all that stuff, but as a leader, it's definitely very stressful, especially once you try to get a little bit more out of it. As a player that is following, it's really helpful to have a really strong leadership group. I'll say that right now. If not, I don't feel it's that bad, because for me, this format feels very low stakes. And if you're not heavily invested in PvP, you're getting an extra perception set, which is still pretty good if you ask me. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you guys have any suggestions and tips on how to do this content, I would greatly appreciate hearing all of those tips from you guys. Like I said, we're all learning as we go here, so bound to be some mistakes here and there, but hopefully we can learn and get better at this format. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate you all, and I'll see you guys in the next video.